Okay, on to the next track in the Craven's Crescendo custom series, man, by Campbell Cravens. Now, this one I've actually got to give you a bit of context because we have done some of these songs. I did the first 3 songs of this album. I think it was called Post Traumatic, and it's basically an album where Mike Shinoda deals with Chester Bennington's death, right? So the first 3 songs were quite hectic, they were quite depressing. It was actually quite raw, very open wound right at the beginning. And this is the 4th song in that album, if I'm not mistaken. And just for a bit of context, I just want to read what Campbell Cravens left for me so you kind of understand where we are. The songs you've already heard from the album are the first 3, Place to Start Over Again and Watching As I Fall. The 8th is Crossing the Line, so obviously that one comes then, and the 12th is Lift Off. The first 3 songs introduced is Anger and Depression, which we have done already, and Crossing a Line being the exact halfway point of the 16-track album, started to show the beginning stages of acceptance. The song Lift Off is one you did very long time ago, out of context with the album. In context, it is the first of 2 songs that are Mike trying to make records that do not deal directly with Chester's death. You're diving back into the 4th song, which is this one over here, so are back into the beginning stages of the record before crossing the line. Okay, so that gives you a bit of context in terms of into the actual album itself and where we are in the album. So if you want to watch those first 3 reactions, I've actually got them in my playlist. I'm not sure if I've got them under Mike Shinoda or if it's under, search for Campbell Cravens. I think you'll probably find that it was like a 3-part series that we did there. And yeah, so this is a custom series, as you guys know, that I do offer as a product to people who want to do a custom series for themselves. The link will be in the pinned comment for anyone who's interested. Just know that there is a bit of a backlog at the moment, and that will, if you do request one, it'll be 2 weeks before we drop anything, because we are catching up at the moment. So let's get straight into it, man. Mike Shinoda, Nothing Makes Sense Anymore. Let's get back into this, man. Still dealing with Chester Bennington's death over here. Let's go. Let's hope YouTube is kind with us on these videos. I can't remember if they were kind the last time. I remember he definitely went through it on this album. And what I love about this album, specifically about these videos, there was no real production on the video over here. It kind of was very personal, very DIY. He just did it himself. It was just basically, it's almost like a diary. He was just trying to deal with this whole Chester Bennington passing away thing.
I used to know where the bottom was, somewhere far under the ocean waves. Up on a ledge I was looking down, it was far enough to keep me safe. But the ground was cracked open, threw me in the ocean, cast me out away at sea. And the waves are still breaking, now that I awaken, no one's left to answer me. My inside's out, my left is right, my upside's down, my back is wide. I hold my breath and close my eyes and wait for dawn, but there's no light, nothing late.
I like that. So just what he said over there, where he's like, I used to know where the bottom was. I knew where to stay safe. I knew how to stand on solid ground, and it kind of just he's kind of just telling you that you never know what's coming around the bend. You actually think you're on solid ground and the sea's way over there, and you're never going to be put in that position where you'll have to deal with being completely lost and feeling like you're drowning and things like that. And before you know it, the ground cracks underneath you and you're swept into the ocean anyway, and you never expected that. That is life. Life's going to throw you curveballs at the end of the day. And then he goes into like, this, you can see this is the confusion state over here. It's like, I don't know what is what anymore. Like, literally, I don't know what is my life. I don't know what is my existence at the moment. I don't know how to deal with any of this. Everything is up and down. So it's basically going through the 5 stages of grief, essentially, working through the first 2 stages, as now is working through the first 2 stages of it, and eventually just trying to sort of get his mental state somewhere into understanding where to from here, to a certain degree. So here's like the very confused side. He doesn't really know where he is.
Makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. I used to sleep without waking up.
Love that. I don't know if it's an intentional. Don't know if that's an intentional thing, but that is, if you actually just see hands that are completely dirty with dirt and sand and stuff like that. For me, that's kind of like a representation of coming back down to earth, right? Sometimes we don't tend to look at life that way. We tend to look at life as like, we're above it all, and the realities of life don't really, and the fragility of life don't really come into our sphere until such time that we are hit with it, and then we are completely thrown to the ground and humbled, right? So it brings you straight back down to earth, and you feel that soil. You feel what it means to really hit rock bottom. I don't know if that's an intentional thing on the video, but I like the sentimental representation of that.
I used to sleep without waking up in a dream I made from painted walls.
Hey.
I was a moment away from done when the black spilled out across it all, and my eyes were made sober. World was turned over, washing out the lines I'd seen, and my heart is still breaking now that I awaken. No one's left to answer me.
Over there, he shows a bit of a glimpse of he shows a little crack in his depression and anxiety, in his dark world. And almost that verse over there shows a little crack of being like, maybe there's a way out of this, right? I think that he alludes to that if you actually... So yeah.
I was a moment away from done when the black spilled out across it all.
So over there, I was a moment away from done, but then when the black spilled out from it all, it's almost like I was there, but thank God I didn't go down that route. So there's a glimmer of hope.
And my eyes were made sober, world was turned over, washing out the lines I'd seen, and my heart is still breaking now that I awaken. No one's left to answer me. My inside's out, my left is right, my upside's down, my back is wide. I hold my breath and close my eyes and wait for dawn, but there's no light.
I like the fact that he says, like, I hold my breath, I close my eyes and wait for dawn until it's done, essentially. So he's basically saying, I'm not giving up hope. I'm not swimming at the moment, right? I'm just letting the waves take me wherever they need to take me. If it's eventually going to take me all the way to shore, fine. If not, whatever, right? But I'm not going to fight this, right? I feel numb. I don't feel like I have the energy for this. I don't feel like I have the energy for swimming. I don't have the energy to tackle these waves. So I'm just going to close my eyes, and I'm just going to, wherever this goes, right? And at some point, I will find the wherewithal to actually maybe start paddling. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? So I like that.
Without an answer, I'm a shadow in the dark, trying to put it back together as I watch it fall apart. I'm a call without an answer, I'm a shadow in
actually telling you that he's trying to fight this over here. Like it's this over here. What he's saying over here is basically saying, I'm finding it hard. But like I said, with the waves, it's like he's just gonna go wherever this takes him. He's gonna let time ride out his pain, right? That's the only way he can deal with this. So he's not fighting it. He's not actively dealing with it. He's just at this stage. He's just letting what has fallen just lie for the moment.
Without an answer, I'm a shadow in the dark, trying to put it back together as I watch it fall apart. My inside's out, my left is right, my upside's down, my back is wide. I hold my breath and close my eyes and wait for dawn, but there's no light. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore.
Love that representation over there, that even in the dirt, even in all of the darkness of the dirt, blades of grass will still pop up. There is still life. There's still life. There's still hope. Great representation over there. I like that video. I'm not entirely sure if that was intentional. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I love that. Also great over here. I know this is not even like heavy production. This is just him filming himself essentially, right? It's all very sort of low end on the production value, but it's meant to be like that. It's meant to show you the rawness. It's meant to just be it's vlogging to a certain degree with you know him just doing it in his art. He's doing it with music, but it's kind of vlogging. But the fact that he shows all of this, like this foggy sky that you can't see, like you can't see the horizon at the moment, right? Everything's foggy, and that's basically his feeling. That's basically how he feels. So even though he's done this very much as a one-man operation, just filming this stuff, I kind of feel like he thought about a lot of like really important elements that tie into the lyrics of the music. Man, this album was raw, man. I remember the first 3 songs, and now this one. This album was very raw. He really struggled with this. But yeah, man, let's get into the next one. You let me know what you think down below, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.